Hi, I'm Jen Grice, author of the book You Can Survive Divorce. I'm a divorce mentor and empowerment coach guiding women to surviving and thriving after divorce. You can find out more about my ministry and my book at jengrice.com. Also get all the resources, tools, and encouragement that you need to get through this foreign territory we call divorce. So today we're going to be talking about being an empath and how that affects a woman's abuse recovery. So what is an empath? Over the last couple of years of my healing, I've been really looking into this more and realized that this describes who I am. Empaths are emotional sponges, absorbing both stress and positive feelings of others. That described me perfectly. That's why it's been hard to be around people that are toxic, because you absorb those feelings and emotions and stress that they carry with them. So here are some of the things that I have found, some things that I relate to, and you might relate to as well if you are an empath. We often don't have our guard up and we trust way too easily. But it's also hard to block out any sort of positive or negative stimulation. So we often retreat from any overwhelming environment, whether it's positive or negative. We're often labeled as overly sensitive and shamed for having any sensitivities or, a lot of empathy towards other people at all. I experienced that all throughout my 40-some years on this earth. So my ex-mother-in-law said that I wore my heart on my sleeve, which is probably true, but that I marched to the beat of my own drum, which, let's talk about shaming there. I was criticized for overreacting and not standing up for myself when being attacked by other people, which is usually shock to the system. Empaths also often have chronic health issues, which include fatigue, migraines, autoimmune disorders, heart problems like blood pressure, and even have a hard time taking off and keeping off extra weight. That extra padding is often the barrier between you and negative energy or the world, and honestly, we're either dealing with pain or exhaustion until we learn to practice self-care on a more regular basis. So it's much harder to take off weight when you're dealing with all those things. Often empaths are more intuitive than other people. We have dreams or premonitions, things like that, that cause us to realize that we're a little different than other people. And lastly, empaths easily get hooked in by a narcissist because of our loving and caretaking nature. So does any of these traits sound like you? Are you an empath? Do you have a lot of empathy for people even when you shouldn't? So if you are an empath, what can you do to help your abuse or divorce recovery? I'm going to share a couple things with you now. So number one, you can heal in private with just a small, close, safe group of friends or other support people. And this applies to everyone as well, but empaths especially need to have a small, trustworthy group of people. Even if it's just a counselor and a coach or mentor, just a couple people or some sort of support group that they're the only people that you talk to about what's going on, your feelings, your emotions, and your healing. Because you might find large groups or even support groups overwhelming, as you may want to help other people, which takes away from your healing, because you're really there to work on yourself. And if you're going there and finding that going to a support group and finding that you're working on everybody else and not yourself, you may need to go to a smaller group, because you want to create space for healing and honor that healing process. You want to allow yourself to feel the pains and the emotions around whatever hurt you fully, to mourn the losses, mourn the empty promises and all those things like I talk about in other healing videos. You want to avoid overwhelming yourself with healing or learning about healing or about abuse, etc. You might have to take a break from my videos, from my website, any other ones that you're learning from, which are great for a period of time, but then it may mean you need to turn your focus on just laying at Jesus' feet, meditating, and just living in your healing space without expectations of, anything more than that. So number 2, you need to set boundaries and limits on your healing and life with others. Like I said, create space for your own healing and practice giving others up to God. You can't save everyone, and people really need to want to heal in order to heal. I'm sure you do, so that's why you're watching this video and learning about healing. Also, boundaries helps you to watch out for and create space between you and emotional vampires, for the lack of a better word. Those people that just suck the emotional life out of you, make you feel drained, make you feel like you're doing more for them than they're doing for you, or that you're not doing for yourself and you need to fill yourself. You want to make this healing process right for you. It's going to be, each of us are going to be different. So your healing needs to be tailored just for you. So you want to separate from those people as much as possible while you're healing so that you can focus on your healing and aren't emotionally drained by somebody else. Going no contact is also important for you if somebody's toxic or they're really just bringing you back to old habits or old ways of thinking. See my other video in above or below about going no contact. Also, visualize untangling from anyone whom you feel an unhealthy emotional tanglement with. Sometimes it helps to write a goodbye or I forgive you letter, or write down everything that they did. Instead of giving that letter to that person, you have kind of a therapeutic session and burn it, in a safe place. Don't burn your house down or anything. And then that's the process of just letting it go. If you're, a visual and a practical learner, then that would be therapeutic for you. Number 3 is trust your intuition. Obviously, like I said, empaths are very intuitive. We have gut feelings about a lot of things and a lot of people. For me, I suppressed all those feelings because I was told that they're bad or wrong most of my life by somebody else. And instead of honing into on those skills, you silenced them. I didn't listen to them. I didn't want to have them. I saw them as a curse and when they're a blessing. So as you're trusting your intuition, you need to build your relationship with yourself. So no more limiting beliefs. No more, I can't do this, I can't heal, it'll never get better. The always, never, those beliefs that you have about yourself, just try to ignore them and feed yourself good things. Also, detox from self-medication, stimuli, and technology to keep your thoughts focused on healing or the future or whatever that may be. We tend to bombard ourselves with stimuli as empaths to forget about all the other stuff. And we need to really, again, just sit in our healing process and honor it and meditate on it and allow it, those feelings and emotions, which are very natural for us, to heal. Also, make self-care important to your daily routine, even if it's just, something small and easy. Like this weekend I have plans to just soak my feet in Epsom salt and spend some time with God. And so write those things on your schedule and make them a priority. I do have a free printable on my website. If you search Jen Grice Self-Care, I'm sure it'll come up and you can download that to see all the different ideas I have about self-care. Be gentle with yourself. You are an emotional person. You do have all the feelings and emotions, and that is who you are. That's the way God created you. So honor those feelings and be gentle to yourself. Next, create a routine. So most empaths find routine very comforting. I know that's me 100%. I need routine. I need to know. I'm a creature of habit. I need to know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and plan way ahead. So if that's the way you are, definitely create your routine so that there's no surprises, so that you're not feeling rushed. Like, I can't stand that myself. I don't like being rushed. Or major changes don't affect your emotions. You can stay more grounded when you have a routine and you form good habits, get plenty of relaxation time, practice deep breathing. I've been focused on that as well myself lately. And be creative or journal. These are very therapeutic. So we're on number 5. And this might take more time and practice and may be uncomfortable for the people in your life who don't understand. So just don't tell them. This is your new life now, right? And you are living it, and you don't have to answer it to anyone else. But develop your sensitivities rather than continuing to silence or deny them. Like I said earlier, we've done this for way too long. It's time to accept this as the gift that it is. It's not a curse for others to pick on you about. And we need more empathetic people in this world, in this challenging world where so many people have a hard time caring for other people. And lastly, and more importantly, learn to change your mindset about what was done to you, the abuse or the abuser. You're not giving this person a free pass by saying, that you change your mindset about it or allowing them to abuse you anymore, obviously. But you're wanting to the point where it doesn't control you, or the other person doesn't control you, or you're not allowing them to hurt you anymore. Because if you think about it, if you're an empathetic person, things that have been done to you, even things, in your younger years, 20, 30, 40 years ago, could still be hurting you today. So you want to remember to feel that pain. A lot of alone time for empathetics allows us to just process it and feel it and decide how we're going to categorize it in our brain. And that's where we get the mindset. Why does it bother you so much? What's the underlying issue? For me, I had to realize that I don't feel loved by anyone in my family. I never did. Don't feel sorry for me. It's just part of my healing, and I'm sharing it to help you with your healing. But that makes me feel like I'm not good enough. Like I have done something wrong to warrant the fact that I grew up with parents who didn't love me, siblings, other relatives who just weren't able to love me. And that makes me feel like I'm not good enough as a human being. That's the underlying issue. And the mindset change that I need to have is that these people didn't see what I have to offer, and they didn't accept me the way that I am, not because there's something wrong with me, but because there's something wrong with them. They discarded me because of, problems in their own life, unhealed wounds in their own life, pain they've never dealt with, the hurting people hurt people excuse, which is not an excuse. But that's what they, that's what they lived by. But I can rewrite the story. I can rewire my brain to think differently, to think I am good enough. I am good enough for God, and that's all that really matters in this world. You just have to keep working on it. You just have to keep reminding yourself daily, hourly, every minute, whatever you have to, that, whatever that underlying issue is, or thing that bothers you, or the thing that makes you feel like I'm not good enough, whatever that is for you, that's not the truth. And it's also good to know that no rational, kind person treats people poorly. That should help you in your healing to change the mindset. If you feel like, my ex-husband doesn't treat me right, it must be something I'm doing wrong, or I don't deserve to be treated like. But you have to know that people treat people kindly, period. Even if you've done something wrong, you're not deserving of being treated poorly. Even criminals go to jail, get treated with kindness. Everybody gets consequences for their behavior, but that doesn't mean that we're unkind to them. And you need to allow the Holy Spirit to speak truth to you through meditation and prayer or Bible reading, or even through other kind, supportive people. that small group of people that you have in your life. What does the Holy Spirit say to you? And obviously the Holy Spirit is always kind. So remember that when you feel like some limiting beliefs are going off in your head, is that God or is that somebody else? And to go into that a little further, and maybe I'll get into this in another video, but some people find divine healing through transformational prayer ministry, also called TPN, or Emmanuel prayer therapy. I don't know a lot about this, and I'm gonna, like I said, go into this in another video, but I have heard about it over the last several years, and I have seen it performed, and I'm gonna give it a try myself in the next month or so with a very close Christian mentor of mine. So I'm excited to share how this helps me to heal my deep wounds that hold me back from wholeness, because isn't that the point? And I hope to share more of that with you in the coming months. I'm hopeful to find what the Holy Spirit has to say about me, the truth, and how it heals my old wounds. So how are you working on your abuse and divorce healing as an empath? Do you find healing your emotional side a lot harder than the rest? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear more. And especially if you know anything about TPM or Emmanuel prayer therapy. So I hope this was encouraging and empowering for you today. If you have any other questions about divorcing a narcissist, being an empath, or healing after divorce, please let me know. And if you like this type of video and want to see more, I'm working on creating a Stronger Woman After Divorce online course, and I'm hoping to have that completed by fall 2019. I know you've probably heard this a lot, but keep an eye out for that. I hope to see you in the next video. God bless.